It's been a really good month if you're a fan of Togashi and his work in Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter. The Hunter x Hunter manga is coming back on January 29th, and Yu Yu Hakusho is getting that special OVA. I don't believe it's coming out till like October, but nevertheless it's still coming, so that's gonna be good. When I first watched Yu Yu Hakusho, I actually dropped it around episode 35-40ish, around the beginning of the Dark Tournament arc. I didn't dislike the series or anything, I just didn't continue watching it because I was busy, I believe. I don't remember why. Anyway, it took about a year or so before I actually continued it, and within that year I watched the masterpiece that was Hunter x Hunter 2011. So when I picked Yu Yu Hakusho back up, I instantly noticed the similarities. It was pretty cool. It was like, yeah, that's where Togashi got the idea for that character from. Oh, so this is where Togashi was going with this idea, and this is where he wanted to go, and this is the idea fully realized in his new series Hunter x Hunter. Yoshihiro Togashi is the mastermind behind these two series. Yu Yu Hakusho started off in 1990 and Hunter x Hunter in 1998. There's quite a bit of similarities between the two, as you would come to expect, cause I mean, who's Togashi ripping off of? Himself? Anyway, there's a good chance I won't get to all the similarities in this video, either because I didn't know them or I just forgot. Let me know if I didn't mention something that you got in the description below. Let's get started. One of the main things these series have in common is that they both follow a small group of characters. One of Togashi's biggest strengths as a writer, at least in my opinion, is having a group of characters and making them all seem interesting and useful. Unlike the other shonens like Dragon Ball, Naruto, or Bleach, where they have a bunch of characters, but at the end of the day and at the end of the series, Goku, Naruto, Vegeta, the Uchihas, and Ichigo are the only ones that really matter. Another thing they both share, which was sadly missing in Yu Yu Hakusho's later arcs, is the aspect of outsmarting your enemy rather than punching them harder to win battles. They both have their own power currency, which I guess is in every other shonen battle anime besides Hero Academia. Yes, I call it power currency because the more you have, the better chance you have to win in like all of these series. Just like how, you know, currency works in real life. Literally every single battle shonen anime works like this, aside from Hunter x Hunter. It's almost like Togashi planned out his battle currency so that battles wouldn't feel predictable, repetitive, or stale. It's almost like he needs to take breaks and get inspired off RPGs like Dragon Quest for new ideas. Hiatus explained, coming soon. In the Dark Tournament, all the battles were strategic and you can tell Togashi put a lot of effort into his fights. After the tournament into the Chapter Black arc, however, Togashi seemed, at least to me, like he was being pressured to continuously work on the manga. This is unfortunate. I love the clever fights in the Dark Tournament arc a lot. The animation was also better in the Dark Tournament arc. Those are just a couple of reasons I prefer the Dark Tournament arc over the Chapter Black arc, but that's for a different video. There's 4 main characters in Hunter x Hunter and 4 main characters in Yu Yu Hakusho. Why quotations for Hunter x Hunter? Because they're almost never actually together for most of the series. They were a group in the Hunter exams and they came together for a little bit in York New, but that's it. I would still consider them the main characters, as the main aspects of the show revolve around these 4 characters and their goals, but compared to Yu Yu Hakusho, they're almost never together. I kinda like this about Hunter x Hunter though. The main 4 go off, do their own thing, and they only really come together once in a while. It's almost like they're actual real life friends. In real life, is your group of friends always gonna work on their goal together at the same time? Or are you gonna work individually on your goals and only group back together once in a while? I personally fall on the latter. Gon wants to find his dad, but he isn't gonna bring Leorio with him to Greed Island because that's not Leorio's goal. There's a lot of flexibility and distance between the main cast, but that doesn't mean they don't care for each other. The main cast still actually help each other reach their own goals, as seen when Gon, Killua, and Leorio side with Kurapika in the York New arc. Gon and Killua also make the conscious decision to help Kurapika's mental state by cooperating with the troop after being captured when they could have easily escaped, but they consciously chose not to as they believed that if Kurapika kept on killing the troop members, it wouldn't be good for his mental state. That's a real homie move right there. That just adds a whole new layer of camaraderie to this group. In Yu Yu Hakusho, the main cast probably still takes the award for the most distinct, charismatic group in anime 25 years later. Each character's personalities work off each other so perfectly. One thing that helps this group is that we're given time in between arcs where the characters are just living life. This makes them feel human. It's actually really entertaining seeing these people just hang out with each other. Hiei gets the most hilarious interactions with Kuwabara I've ever seen as well. Honestly, if you were to ask me, I think Hiei is the most important member of the group. He has a cold yet humorous tone, which adds an element of pessimism to the group. Hiei, in my opinion, is the man who keeps the group balanced. Without him, I don't know, the group would just feel overwhelmingly positive. Like, I don't know, it feels too happy when there isn't Hiei there. The group needs Hiei to find balance. He hates Yusuke and Kuwabara for being humans, and he's kinda okay with Kurama, I guess, cause he's a demon. It's not even like he likes Kurama, it's more like, you're okay, I guess. This is a stark difference between Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho. In Hunter x Hunter, they're all go-lucky, happy friends. But in Yu Yu Hakusho, Hiei completely shifts the balance. One not really downside, but more so a point I want to mention, is that the group is far more reactionary rather than progressive like in Hunter x Hunter. The group only really joins back together when they have a common goal. Yes, Yusuke and Kuwabara will always go to school together, but unless there's a common villain they all need to beat up, you're never gonna see these four together. But in Hunter x Hunter, since they all like each other, they could just randomly meet up, and they could just interact and have a good time. Yu Yu Hakusho is more restricted and less flexible than the group in Hunter x Hunter. The group in Hunter x Hunter stick together more so because they want to, and in Yu Yu Hakusho it's more so because they have to. Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio all choose to stay together after the Hunter exams into the Zoldyck family arc. They choose to help Kurapika in the York New arc, and Leorio chooses to help save Gon in the end of the anime. Both are definitely really strong main characters, and they function completely different. If I were forced to choose which cast I like more, I would have to go with Yu Yu Hakusho, but the cast in Hunter x Hunter is really great as well. Both are amazingly written nevertheless. Comparing the actual characters head to head, Gon isn't really much like Yusuke. Yes, they both wear green, they're both the main characters, and they put their friends at the top of their priority, but Gon is a carefree, childish psychopath while Yusuke is a teenage street punk who loves to start fights. Not really all that similar, right? I mean, they both have a non-existent dad. Shoutouts to Kabanamani456. Their parents also raised them completely differently, which is probably why they act so differently, which I guess could be seen as a similarity. Gon's aunt cared for him while Yusuke's didn't, which led to Yusuke being a street punk and Gon being a lovable kid. They're both idiots when it comes down to book smarts, but when it comes to battle, they're surprisingly clever. They both questioned their morality after their first kill. Gon's was on an ant and Yusuke's was on a human. They both have a mentor who's old and can make themselves look younger. Gon and Yusuke also have a really strong ancestor. Dawn Freaks has been in the Dark Continent for the past 300 years, while Yusuke's ancestor is one of the kings of the demon world. They both go through a Dragon Ball Z-esque transformation, although I'd like to mention that they were executed completely differently, and that's about all I could find. Structurally, they're actually kind of similar now that I think about it, but in terms of personality, they're nothing alike, and that's what stands out more to me. Honestly, if you ask me, Yusuke acts more like Jing than Gon. We actually need more main characters like Yusuke, to be honest. He feels fresh and distinct compared to the other shonen main characters. Yusuke is often the most powerful character on scene, whereas Gon almost never is. Togashi does this in Hunter x Hunter to help the other characters stand out and give Gon more room to develop. It's pretty easy to write yourself into a corner when the main character is already a top tier fighter within the first couple arcs, which led Togashi to introduce things like demon classes to give Yusuke a reason and a way to continue developing his strength after the Dark Tournament. Because maybe it's just me, but Yusuke felt like he was about as strong as he was ever gonna get after the Dark Tournament. The whole demon class stuff felt like an afterthought to me. Togashi did still have some really great ideas after the Dark Tournament, but I don't feel like they were fully realized until he made Hunter x Hunter, when he started writing at his own pace. More on that thought in part 2. Killua and Hiei. They're both the badass fan favorite characters of the group. They both excel in speed. What else? They both control an element? Hiei has fire while Killua has lightning. I don't know, these guys aren't that similar either. Hiei is more like Vegeta if anything. He scolds the other members of the main trio and really just hates them for being human. Believe it or not, Hiei wasn't actually planned on being a main character, which is actually why you never see this form again. Vegeta warms up to the group just as Hiei warms up to the group. They don't ever admit it, but you know, they stick around for a reason. Killua is extremely different. He instantly befriends the main cast. His goal was to actually be a friend to Gon, so that's another difference. I guess one last similarity is that they both have a younger sister or brother. In Killua's case, it's a dude that identifies as a girl. Anyway, they both have a younger sibling in which they care a lot about. Killua and Aluka, Hiei and Yukina. Kurapika and Kurama are arguably the most similar. Both are seen as the intellectual members of the group. They aren't necessarily the strongest, but they're the most tactical. They often plan things out before going in head first. Killua can be similar at times, but personally I feel Kurapika just does it a little bit better. He's just a smidge smarter in my opinion. Both characters have a calm and collected demeanor. They both look like girls. Kurapika uses chains to hold people down while Kurama uses his plants. They may not express it outwardly, but both characters have an unwavering care for their friends. In Kurapika's case, even to the point where he delays his goal of killing the troop members, he could have easily killed Chrollo, but Gon and Killua were being held hostage, and he then chose his friends over his goal. Again, another homie move. These characters are just so great, man. This isn't Kurama and Kurapika, but I feel like this is still pretty notable. Kurama was reborn with red hair in the human world, just like how Kite was in Hunter x Hunter. In their true forms, they both have white hair. They both have a close encounter with death and are reborn with red hair. Kite was a human turned into an ant, while Kurama was a demon turned into a human. They both also have long hair. Kuwabara and Leorio. As much as I love these guys, I have to admit, they are without a doubt the weakest members of the group. Kuwabara is less obvious, but holy moly is Leorio the weakest in the group. Kuwabara is actually pretty strong. He has some key victories like his win against the Elder Toguro. Leorio isn't necessarily weak either. If I were to give a rough guess, I'd say he's about as strong or a little bit weaker than Gon and Killua during the York New arc, which isn't really all that weak, but compared to Gon and Killua now, yeah, that's pretty weak. Leorio is trying to be a doctor, so it makes sense that he isn't prioritizing his strength. You could even argue that Leorio is the most book smart out of the 4 main characters in Hunter x Hunter. Kurapika and Killua probably could be on par, if not a little bit ahead of Leorio if they actually tried to be book smart. But yeah, as it stands right now, Leorio is the most book smart. That's probably the main thing that separates these two actually. Leorio is at least book smart, whereas Kurapika is just a straight up dumbass. Well, that isn't true actually. Kuwabara does make plans to be a lawyer towards the end of Yu Yu Hakusho when Yusuke goes to the demon world. So yeah, Togashi is carrying out the idea he had for Kuwabara and transferring it to Leorio. Both characters are really impulsive and they play the comedic role of the group, and both characters are very vocal about their love for their friends. This isn't a similarity between Kuwabara and Leorio, but another thing I noticed is that Leorio got completely carried during the Hunter exams. Like, let's be real, he did not deserve to make it through that at all. It was almost comical how much he was carried. Like, literally carried. Just like how Yusuke got extremely lucky during Genkai's recruitment in the beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho. It was almost comical how that all happened and how this whole series came about to begin with. So yeah, that part seemed similar to me. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It'll be really awesome if I can get over 100 likes on this video. I know I've been hyping this video up for quite a bit now, but I'm finally getting around to finishing it and uploading it. It was really fun coming up with my own stuff and researching for this video. The sources I took information from will be in the description. Let me know what other anime videos you guys want me to do down in the comments below. This video's been on hold for a while, so I hope I didn't disappoint any of you. Part 2 of this video will be coming out soon as well. I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to me talking about the villains. Sorry about that, that'll have to wait. I'll be going over everything else I missed from this video in part 2. I'll also go over things like themes. So yeah, it'll be the complete package. If I put that in this video, it would end up being like 30 minutes long. So yeah, that's it for this video. Peace.